Palworld is getting sued.
Well, it's me, Mudahar, and I bet you knew this video was coming. So yesterday I came home and, it was a good day until I came and read that Palworld was getting sued by good old Nintendo, ladies and gentlemen. Now, to give an idea about what's going on, if you know about this game named Palworld, you probably have heard about it. January of this year was when this game dropped and basically became like a mature response to Pokemon. It was a huge success on Game Pass. Tons of people played it. I played it with my friends. Actually made...
This is kind of crazy that Palworld's getting sued. Like, it's not crazy. It's kind of expected. But I ain't gonna lie, and I haven't seen this video or heard anything about it other than this video, but, like, it's kind of cringy, too. Like, Nintendo really, bro, you're about to, like, sue Palworld? Like, bro. Like, how desperate you gotta be? Like, people enjoy, like...
videos on it, and yeah, it became a pretty awesome game that everyone liked. And there was some controversy around it. People looked at the company, some of the stuff being said, but there was one assumption that maybe Nintendo was gonna sue them. And you know what? Months had passed. January became February. February became March. Well, the story ends.
I thought it was gonna last longer.
September 19, 2024.
Oh, that's like yesterday.
Lawsuit for infringement of patent rights against Pocketpair Incorporated. Now, I want to say that this is patent, rights, not copyrights, okay? Copyrights are different. Nobody is, arguing that there was some copyrights or IPs being stolen. Patents are a lot different. So Nintendo, of Japan, together with the Pokemon Company, okay, all right.
If you guys don't know the difference in copyright is like when you create something and then someone basically copies something that you created. That's like not like you don't like legally, like there's no like thing in place that says you own it. Yeah, so the difference between patents and copyright, like that's probably the easiest way to explain it. Copyright could be like I drew a picture and then somebody took that picture and then or like copied that picture exactly and then went and used it to like make money or do whatever. Or a patent could be like a function. You could like if you build like a hinge and then like, okay, the hinge, this is how the hinge works and this is exactly how I built it. Nobody can then go like, I own the right to build it.
One and the same filed a patent infringement lawsuit in the Tokyo District Court against Pocketpair Incorporated on September 18th, 2024. The lawsuit seeks an injunction against infringement and compensation for damages on the ground that Palworld, a game developed and released by the defendant, infringes multiple patent rights. So what Nintendo said is they'll continue to take necessary actions against any infringement of its intellectual property rights, including the Nintendo brand itself, to protect the intellectual properties it has worked hard to establish over the years.
Here's obviously it'll get to it, but here's what makes me really curious is like what patents are they infringing on? If it's something like Pokeballs and like the way you capture a certain like monster, bro, that's cringe, bro. Bro, that's cringe.
Now, look, before we get into like blind defense and fanboyism, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of the Nintendo, not polishers that might be like, well, it's Nintendo's right to defend themselves. It's totally a Nintendo thing to just out of nowhere sue a company months after. And of course, there was a reasoning to that too. Obviously, Nintendo had to do some careful investigation on this as well. So according to Nintendo Life, according to a Nintendo spokesperson, they're like, we filed a lawsuit at this timing after careful investigation of the content that is the subject of this lawsuit. We will refrain from commenting on topics that relate to the content of the lawsuit. So obviously it's supposed to be very hush-hush. And so I started to look into like Japan's like laws around patents and everything too. And when I looked at patent prosecution, look, are all types of subject matter patentable? So apparently, according to Japanese law, if the claimed inventions lack industrial applicability, the invention is not patentable. Inventions of methods for performing surgery on humans, providing therapy to humans, or diagnosing humans lack industrial applicability. Okay. And then it's like, is there a duty to the patent office to disclose prejudicial prior disclosures or documents? No, there is not. So again, looking through this kind of information, the way that patents are treated. Unfortunately, all right, Nintendo is arguing that there was some mechanic or something in Palworld that is infringing on their established patents, and that's pretty much the end of that.
Okay.
Now, this is where the whole like situation kind of like goes radio silent. There's not much you can get out. Looking through Japanese, courts, I don't.
Power doesn't deserve to get sued. Power is like any monster catching games out there. Just the only one that's popular. Agreed. If you think about it, like that's legitimately basically what got me into Ark. Was the concept that you could capture dinosaurs, monsters, or whatever. Like that's what intrigued me. I was always a massive Pokemon fan, and a lot of people like subconsciously get into Ark because it is essentially a monster capture game. Ark did do it right, where they were like so different that it wasn't the same.
I don't think you can pull these, documents at all publicly, and I don't expect to either. If neither party is going to comment, it's probably going to be pretty hush-hush, and especially that this is two companies going at each other, one significantly larger than the other. You can expect that this will probably take a fair bit of time going through the court system before any actual information of value comes out. So, again, based on what Pocketpair had said regarding the lawsuit, yesterday, a lawsuit was filed at our company for patent infringement. We have received notice of this lawsuit and will begin the appropriate legal proceedings and investigations into the claims of patent infringement. At this moment, we are unaware of the specific patents we are accused of infringing upon and have not been notified of such details.
How are they getting sued? I don't even know.
No fucking idea what they did wrong. They just know that they're being sued.
That's crazy. Hey, we're gonna sue you for patent infringement. Okay, what did we do wrong? I'm not telling. What, bro? Oh, shit.
The Pocketpair is a small indie company based in Tokyo. And it's always sad when you're hosted in the same country as the larger, as whoever's hitting you. Our goal as a company has always been to create fun games. We will continue to pursue this goal because we know that our games bring joys to millions of gamers around the world. Palworld was a surprise success, both for gamers and for us. So yeah, they're a pretty, good team. They said it's unfortunate that we will be forced to allocate significant time to matters unrelated to game development due to this lawsuit. However, we will do our utmost to our fans and to ensure that indie game developers are not hindered or discouraged from pursuing their creative ideas. And from what I understand, these guys are pretty awesome. They literally didn't even go free to play. I was reading like about a couple weeks ago that they were still going to maintain that their game was going to remain this premium purchase instead of turning themselves into this free to play microtransactionable hell.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, all right, you can see that they're doing the best they can to treat the community that they've built right. And it does suck to see them actually having to take time away and siphon resources just to fight a lawsuit that I don't really think is done in the best of intentions.
No, not at all.
So clearly Nintendo finds that there's something wrong and people are speculating what it is. So one of the speculations is, clearly Nintendo got pretty mad at the monster hunting dynamic of it. And if that's the patent they're going for, like capturing monsters and using them to battle, well, that is a losing lawsuit right there because monster hunting is not entirely new whatsoever.
Nope.
In fact, if we're going to be completely honest, plenty of games have taken a spin on that.
Ark.
Games like Metal Gear Solid, with Peace Walker and Phantom Pain have literally added a Pokemon-like system where you go out into the wilds, Afghanistan or Africa, and you stick Fulton recovery systems onto the asses of soldiers, launch them to the stratosphere, and give them a 9-to-5 job as a PMC operator at Diamond Dogs, okay? All right, so this isn't new whatsoever. Hell, if we want to go back to the origin points, games like the Shin Megami Tensei or the Megami Tensei series have allowed you to recruit monsters and basically fuse them, butt-fuck them together, and then turn them into monstrosities that will fight alongside you to the credit screen of the game. You played Persona? Yeah, the whole mask system isn't so much different than the Pokeball system. Now, if the trademark is taking a ball and throwing it at the face of a monster in order to capture it, if that's the patent that, Nintendo wants to hit, then my only question is why it took them 9 months to launch this lawsuit and then basically ensure that all it seems like with this lawsuit, all it seems like with stuff like this is...
You're right. Nintendo is definitely pulling at the strings, man. They are reaching. They're reaching so deep on this one. I don't know, man. Like, this isn't a good look for Nintendo and Pokemon. I love, like, everybody loves Nintendo and Pokemon. And, like, really, like, how, like, honestly, like, if anybody, like, they're so big. It's such a big company. How does it affect anything? Who does it really affect? Like, who are you losing to? You're not losing to Palworld. You're fucking Pokemon, for God's sake. You're the biggest monster capture game franchise in the entire world. What are you worried about? Isn't there theme parks dedicated to Pokemon? That's crazy. That's crazy. Let Palworld live. This is what annoys me too, is that big corporations get also freaking butthurt about this stuff that, like, the consumers are the ones that suffer at the end of the day. Legitimately, the consumers are the ones that are gonna suffer because of this stupid thing. Nintendo has done this for ages. They're one of the biggest companies that are trying to sue any game that even relevant to any other games. Have they ever come for Ark? That's a question. Because honestly, like, Ark is exactly this. Although, like, it wasn't until cryopods, Ark has cryopods in the base game. Like, dude, it's literally Pokemon. Like, it took them ages to bring it out, and obviously, I would say that Wildcard played their cards very, very, like, smart, because cryopods are the same concept as Pokeballs and stuff, but they're not. Like, they're so different. Like, they it's made so much sense. That was probably genius on their behalf. 100%. Ark was so smart in that sense.
Starving another company out financially.
But yeah, not finding out what the patent is going to be interesting. Like, I'd love to know what patents they've actually, like, thinged. If the patent that they're trying to claim here is throwing balls and catching monsters, then why is Neopets and all the exact to the last minute detail Pokemon? Yeah, dude. I haven't heard of them going after Ark, but there are so many lawsuits that we've never heard of. True. Vanny, how you doing, dude?
Or harming them, especially when, from what I understood, Palworld being a surprise success was basically a game that really brought Pocketpair back onto the pocketbook, so to speak. So Nintendo hitting them in this regard just makes no sense whatsoever. But this also leads to another discussion regarding patents and, patenting actual game ideas. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, this is a patent for a video game known as Shadow of Mordor or Shadow of War. So this patent, US 109-261-79B2...
This is also a monster capture game. You essentially go and capture... If you're unfamiliar with this game, I actually love it. I think it's a freaking fun as flip game. But you essentially go out and you go and defeat orcs, and then you can literally recruit them to, like, work for you.
Talks about Nemesis characters, forts, social vendettas, and followers in computer games. And of course, the abstract for it is a method for managing non-player characters, and power centers in a computer game are based on character hierarchies and individualized correspondence between each character's trait and ranks and events that involve other non-player characters or objects.
Yeah.
Effectively, it's a game where there is a society that you can manipulate and a society that constantly is manipulating itself without any of your interaction. So if you ever played the Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor systems, at some point in the game you unlock the ability to brand, you unlock the ability to control, underlings and have them inserted into entire social
This game is a lot of fun.
Where there are captains, soldiers, certain hierarchies, and you're basically getting these guys to, run these games, these internal politics to either kill, usurp power, or, eventually take over an entire organization just so they can eventually do your bidding, okay? It's called the Nemesis system, and it was one of the best systems in those video games, and it made them so popular. But if you look at a patent like this, it was introduced in 2016, and its adjusted expiration is 2036, meaning this gameplay system, from my understanding and my understanding of the law, you can't bring this system over to other video games, where it would actually be pretty awesome. Look.
See, that sucks. Again, this is another proof of point that, like, a lot of these big companies, because that was, if you have a look, we'll go back. If you have a look, it actually says it was filed by, look here, application filed by Warner Brothers Entertainment. Dude, like, you can't touch Warner Brothers. This is literally the biggest company in the world. Let's go, Bob. Bro, like this is actually crazy. Like what a cool, it is definitely an amazing system. But I feel like the consumers are the one missing out, because this could be really cool if it was implemented into like other games. I can't really think of something off the top of my head, but I'm sure there could be other games out there that this could be like. This is based off Lord of the Rings, but what if somebody had the same sort of system that was re-implemented into like something that was just created from the ground up, like a full fantasy thing? Oh yeah. Oh, it's just a money. It's a money grab. It's a money grab massively. And like, I get it. They want to protect their own like IP and stuff. And, you know, they created it and whatnot. But the concept is really cool that, again, consumers are going to miss out on because there's so much red tape around it. It's stupid.
Understanding of the law, you can't bring this system over to other video games, where it would actually be pretty awesome.
Yep.
Look, a lot of the gaming industry is built off of iterating off of each other, okay? When Call of Duty was at its fucking peak in 2009, every game started copying Call of Duty.
Yep.
And it's not because it was just popular, it's because it was fun.
Think of battle royales. If what's the one before Fortnite? And you win Pancake. PUBG. If PUBG like went down this route of like patenting like battle royales, I don't know. They probably weren't even the first. But PUBG. If they did that, Fortnite would never exist. You know, what are other dope battle royales? Like even like Overwatch's systems. Like if they did that, all these other games wouldn't exist. And here's the other thing that comes with it too. When they like patent it down and they make it so difficult for other people to copy their systems, what happens, right, is it breeds zero competition. And without competition, nothing gets better. Literally nothing gets better. Think about it. If there was no Apple, there'd be no Microsoft at the levels that they are. Like Apple and Microsoft are the best examples. Like they are so high and so peak at like creating good products because there's competition, because they didn't like cancel each other out of the systems. They always just competed and competed and competed. They need to do that in gaming. Like it's crazy. Like whatever like Nintendo are doing, they're actually hurting the entire industry. It's crazy. Which is my Pokemon has just went downhill and is now boring. Agreed. You mean Apple and Samsung? No, you're talking about phones. I'm talking about actual like the companies. Apple, wow, you're definitely young, dude. Smash that like button and subscribe. Let's go chat.
It's because it was a system that, you know, captured millions of people, and tons of other games started to capture that magic. So a lot of games end up copying off each other. Pokemon was a very popular video game, but it wasn't the only monster hunting video game out there.
Yes.
Plenty of titles have come before and after that have taken that concept and have built upon it.
Correct.
So Nintendo going out of their way to hit against Palworld, yes, there obviously are some level of similarities between the two games. I'm not going to pretend that there isn't or dig my head in the sand. But Nintendo going after 9 months to finally build this weird patent case and go after a company like this is clearly a sign of, in my opinion, more malicious legal acting than there actually being a real patent case to really go after. But hey, ultimately, at the end of the day, look, Pocketpair is a small company as compared to Nintendo. Nintendo is one of the largest, if not, I think, the largest company in all of Japan. So
arguably one of the best, one of them in the world.
Okay? And they can bring up whatever bullshit case they want in Tokyo courts. And they could very, very easily snuff out the financials of the smaller company. And that's where I think ultimately the story is really headed to go to. I don't know if they have a case, but this is very much an on-brand Nintendo thing to do. At the end of the day, all I really hope is Palworld ends up winning. I always root for the underdog, especially in situations like this.
It's exciting.
I don't think that Palworld is doing anything that is necessarily encroaching on the patents that Nintendo has brought up. If the closest patent that I could even think of, and again, this is pure speculation, is maybe the ideas of throwing Pokeballs at monsters and watching them be captured, 3 shakes and suddenly they're yours. Maybe that is the case, okay? Maybe it could be something entirely different. Hell, maybe it could be the idea of stuffing these things in a digital box, a digital PC. Maybe that's the patent. I don't necessarily know.
It'd be weird.
But whatever it has to be is something so insignificant and tiny and very specific to the Pokemon franchise that it took them 9 months to dig it out of their ass and suddenly throw in a court and aim for injunction. That's pretty much what it comes down to. But is it a good look for Nintendo? No. But at the end of the day, is it going
Terrible
to
look.
affect, a Nintendo sale? Probably not.
Nope.
It's still going to be fucking people buying Pokemon games and everything out there.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a sad thing to see. And generally, look, the best is when the gaming industry iterates and learns from each other, not when they're busy litigating.
I unfortunately see them running the court case long to try and drain Palworld out of money, which is either force Palworld to sell out or another big company to buy them out. Essentially, yeah, that'll be that. Ooh, yeah, you're not wrong there. Yeah, it's very, very likely that they're going to drain their money and that they're going to have to get bought out. That'll be freaking terrible. But that's some bullying ass shit. That is bullying to the max. It might be similar to how they actual Pokemon. Nah, it's too subjective. It's way too subjective. Like, you could argue it for sure in some end, like, but I don't think that'll be like that court case would be stupid. You're like, oh, that Pal's eyes are very similar to that one. That'd be silly. Nintendo wins every case. Honestly, the way the big corporations work is whoever's got the most amount of money that can make the other company drain too much of their money wins. They can literally just drag these court cases out for as long as possible. Just keep billing so that the lawyers can bill and make lots of money. Like Nintendo will spend $1 million just to like drain the money of Pocketpair. It's crazy. It's crazy and it's cringe.
Each other to prevent gameplay features from showing up in other games. That is just learns from each other, not when they're busy. At the end of the day, is it going to affect, a Nintendo sale? Probably not. It's still going to be fucking people buying Pokemon games and everything out there.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a sad thing to see. And generally, look, the best is when the gaming industry iterates and learns from each other, not when they're busy litigating each other to prevent gameplay features from showing up in other games.
Amen.
That is just selfish and sad. Anyways, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.